Hey there, everyone. I'm meteorologist Cassie Nall, and this is your 10 Weather Impact Recap for the week. Let's start with a look at some of the top weather stories from around the country. Beginning with a historic blizzard that dumped more than 2 feet of snow across the mid-Atlantic and northeast regions earlier this week. Thousands of flights were canceled as major cities worked to get back up and running. Emily Ikeda reports from New Jersey.
Toppled trees and downed power lines across the Northeast, where tonight hundreds of thousands remain without power after a devastating blizzard left millions under multiple feet of snow. Today, a new threat coming from a temporary thaw. Watch how melting ice and snow plummet from this skyscraper in Boston, hitting the ground below with a dramatic thud. Along Massachusetts coast, home after home frozen over, snow disguising entryways, school buses and cars totally covered. And look at this gas station canopy that collapsed. The NYPD says they're now investigating videos like this one showing snowballs thrown at police officers who were then transported to the hospital with injuries to the head, face, and neck area. The city's mayor reacting.
They and our entire city workforce deserve to be treated with respect.
Police now looking for these two men tonight. At least 39 places were blanketed by more than 30 inches of snow. These roads in Rhode Island still impassable. WJAR's Molly Levine is there.
Here in Providence, residents spent the day digging out from their driveway after this record-breaking storm dumped over 30 inches on the city. But what good is that when the snow is up to your knees and many of the streets are untouched?
It's not just the rush to clear roads in the Northeast, but also to restore power to hundreds of thousands in these freezing temperatures.
Officials in Maryland, which faced high winds, confirmed 2 people died when a tree fell on their car Sunday. Crews now clearing railroads and airlines racing to recover from more than 11,000 flight cancellations since Sunday. The terminals in Boston today eerily quiet.
While the mid-Atlantic and the Northeast are still digging out from winter's latest storm, Minnesotans are no stranger to snow. In fact, it snows so much in Minnesota that the State Department of Transportation holds an annual contest for people to create nicknames for their favorite snowplow in their district. Officials announced the 8 winners this week, and they are, drum roll, Oh for Fleet's Sake, Flurrious George, Sled Zeppelin, K-pop Blizzard Hunter, Mini Snowta, Every Day I'm Shoveling, Oh Brother Where Art Plow, and Life of a Showgirl. But because I love this story so much, I'm always a fan of a good pun, here are some of the runners-up that didn't make the list. Don't flurry, be happy, kaplow! 867-530 Brian, I got friends in snow places. Six sledding, and John Bon Snowy. It'd be better if I had a live studio audience, but you get the idea. Now, as temperatures begin to warm, ice is jammed on the Allegheny River upwards of 10 miles, which acts like a dam and blocks the water flow. Depending on how quickly rivers rise, flooding could become a life or death situation. Addison Albert has more.
I've been here in this area for 20 years and I haven't seen it like this.
Dozens of people lined the Allegheny River in Emlenton to watch the ice jam. Brady Louise is a captain with the fire department, but also owns a home close to the bank. When we arrived, the ice broke free and Louise paced back and forth, alerting folks down the river, hoping the tons of ice would spare his front deck.
I would say right now we're 25 to 30 feet above normal height of the river with this jam right now. This is just going to be a problem at each town downriver. It's going to hit Parker next, it's going to jam there, and they're going to have issues.
Venango County commissioners say they are used to the flooding in river towns, but after seeing this ice flow underneath a bridge in Oil City, they became concerned.
The Army Corps of Engineers put in a whole lot of flood controls that have really worked well for the last 40 years. So luckily, we haven't seen anything this bad in about 40 years.
Louise says state police are watching the river from the sky, and local first responders remain connected through radio. Although fascinating to see, he encourages bystanders to stay back and remain alert.
People coming close, you start looking at it and it's moving, they step in, it's a little slushy, slip in, and you could be pulled with the ice.
A siren will go off in town if the water begins to rise and people need to move off of River Avenue.
In Hawaii, a series of storms have brought heavy rain to the islands, leading to widespread flooding. On Oahu, people had to leave their homes as torrents of water rushed down the hillsides. This has been an active winter season for the islands, with strong winds causing damage and power outages a few weeks ago, and now heavy rain inundating communities. And those same storms are on their way to California next. Communities near South Lake Tahoe received 5 to 10 feet of snow just last week. But this next wave of energy is expected to bring rain to areas that still have feet of snow on the ground. And this could lead to flooding as that snow rapidly melts. Michelle Bander shows how residents are prepared for the next round of active weather.
It's been days of clearing snow and ice in South Lake Tahoe. Now, instead of removing it from the roads,
we're really more concerned about the melting of the snow and all of that water that's going to come from the rain combining to create flooding conditions in various parts of the city.
City crews focusing on storm drains on busy boulevards.
When the water does start flowing, it can flow into the drains and hopefully go out the way it's intended to, rather than being blocked up and not being able to go out.
Steve Tibble's using the break in the weather to get the feet of snow off his roof, preventing ice jams.
You know, there's heaters in the gutter, but the snow migrates down.
Tibbles lives in a neighborhood that sees flooding after the snow from big storms starts melting. And now rain in the forecast bringing even more challenges.
And there's no drainage. I mean, they built this house right across the fall line, and it all just runs right up to Michael and puddles up.
The city's encouraging residents to be ready. That's why they've set up 2 free sandbag stations so folks can protect their homes and businesses.
We're anticipating they will see flooding, and it's just a question of how much, not if.
In Texas, the parents of 9 campers and counselors killed at Camp Mystic have filed a federal lawsuit. They claim Texas health officials licensed the camp without the required evacuation plan. The suit claims campers were told to stay in their cabins, including in the ones in flood zones along the Guadalupe River. Floodwaters hit 4th of July last year, killing 27 campers and counselors. The camp's license is still active, and there are plans to reopen this summer. The Texas Lieutenant Governor urged state health officials not to renew the 2026 license. And in Florida, frigid temperatures are ruining crops and resulting in billions in losses for farmers. Edward Franco spoke to some of the impacted businesses.
I've been here for 18 years. And that's the hardest winter.
Felix Hernandez is the field manager at Blueberry Bunch Farm. He is bracing for another cold blast.
The temperature drop, I have to be here running and doing everything. Everything is ready to run. 2,000 gallons per minute.
Hernandez showed me their water pump that is used to irrigate and spray water on the plants when it gets too cold. That water freezes over the plants to help most berries alive. You can see the last time they were frozen just a few weeks ago, but not all the plants survive as the cold wind does the most damage.
We lose more than 4,000 plants was killed by the weather.
Hernandez also tells me they lost around 30,000 pounds of blueberries. Florida's recent cold snaps have caused over $3 billion in estimated losses to Florida agriculture.
It's not going to be good. It's not good. This is twice that's happened. It's hard for us to even get supplies here quickly because this is something we don't expect.
At Southwest Florida Produce in Punta Gorda, the effects from the last frost are also still taking a toll.
Through to our last frost, a lot of them blew like far. We had to go far to pick up all of the sheets and the plastic, and then they all got destroyed from the wind. So we can't even get any more plastic in for tonight.
And that cold and dry weather has set the stage for widespread drought and growing fire danger. A fire in Big Cypress National Preserve in southwest Florida sparked on Monday and quickly grew to 25,000 acres. According to the Florida Forest Service, the national fire remains 0% contained. Smoke is creating visibility concerns for drivers, especially along Alligator Alley and Interstate 75, and air quality is also being reduced. Fire crews are working to contain the national fire and multiple others burning across the state. This month marked 500 days since Hurricane Helene hit the southeast, killing hundreds of people and leaving communities in ruin. But now, almost a year and a half later, one lake in western North Carolina is finally starting to look like itself again. Crews had to drain Lake Lure in order to clean debris and make repairs to infrastructure. And finally, the water is rising again. Peyton Furtado shows us how the lake and surrounding community are making a comeback.
We've followed Lake Lure's progress for a year and a half now.
So what happens when you take the lake out of a town called Lake Lure? Well, this town relies really heavily on tourism dollars.
That was Lake Lure last summer when they had to lower lake levels after Hurricane Helene. As you can see, some things look really different. The Army Corps of Engineers removed 1.1 million tons of debris, and crews are working on marinas and seawalls ahead of the summer. Now begins the next phase.
The tainter gates, which are the gates on the dam that let the water go through, the seals had to be replaced around them because they were damaged. And the lake had to be at 15 feet below full pond in order for us to do that. That was finished last week, so that was perfect. So then we can begin raising the lake up again.
The water rising a foot a day to not put a strain on the dam, relying on rain instead of the river.
Of course, the run of the river will continue, but it's the run of the river, so it'll continue on downstream too, through the dam. So we need the extra rain that just comes down here in Lake Lure.
Based on typical weather patterns, Lake Lure will have a full lake by Memorial Day weekend.
Well, it's critical. I don't think a lot of our business owners could have stood it, because truly, usually from Memorial Day through Labor Day, that's when they make the preponderance of their money.
Jeff Geisler manages Rumbling Bald, a resort with homes, golf courses, and of course, lake access.
Yeah, it was about a 50% reduction in visitors. We saw a lot of people coming just because they wanted to support the area.
After nearly 2 years, Jeff says he and other businesses in the region are grateful to have a normal summer.
We haven't popped the champagne cork yet, but we know the lake's getting full. We've been waiting for this day since September 25th of 2024.
And as people book their vacations, the main message here from Lake Lure, come on over. The water's going to feel great.
North Carolina is investing millions of dollars into flood protection. Governor Josh Stein announced a new $5.7 million grant to support flood mitigation projects in western portions of the state. The funding should help with projects in the French Broad River Basin aimed at restoring floodplains damaged by heavy rain and catastrophic flooding from Hurricane Helene. The projects will help improve water quality and reduce flooding risk from future storms.
It's important that people know that their government is actually trying to do everything in our power to help them. We know that there will be floods in the future, and the question is, have we learned anything from the horrific experience of Helene so that we can mitigate the pain, the damage, the heartache that so many people experienced? And the answer to that is yes, we have learned, and we want to invest today in resilience so that when that future storm comes, it will be that much less painful for the future folks.
And North Carolina's private bridge and road rebuild program is getting ready to start hundreds of projects. As Kimberly King reports, the focus is to make sure emergency vehicles can get to residents.
Here in Yancey County, a lot of residents are still waiting for the private road and bridge program that's federally funded to come through. Here at Ermal Wheeler's property, he built this more than 2 decades ago and is still waiting for it to get rebuilt. I met Ermal Wheeler a year ago. His bridge across the Cane destroyed. He's one of 5 families on the other side. They don't have a good crossover for emergency vehicles. His cousin, Bobby Webb, yes, drives his Jeep across the Cane, up the road sometimes daily to his home. His bridge also destroyed. The 77-year-old's had emergencies. He's encouraged, though, feeling contractors will break ground on a bridge this April.
We actually had meetings with the county guy and a state lady. They've been doing a lot of surveying both sides of the river.
Ermal showed us the challenging muddy road families have to use right now without a bridge. In Buncombe, there's progress. With nearly 1,000 bridge and road requests, 49 are done, 8 under construction, and 12 designed with more scheduled. There are countless stories of nonprofits stepping in where the federal government has had delays, and in Yancey County, it's no exception. A Bridge Home, along with other nonprofits, helped get this walking bridge to residents' homes built. Meanwhile, the community waits for the federal program to come through along 19W.
This Sunday, March 1st, will mark the beginning of meteorological spring. And as we make the transition from cold winter temperatures toward the warm summer months, severe weather tends to increase in East Tennessee. The 10 Weather Impact Team put together a severe weather awareness special and outlook to help get you prepared for the next time storms are in the forecast. We discuss everything from flooding and lightning and hail to why damaging wind events should be taken just as seriously as tornadoes. That special is streaming now on WBIR+. Let's get a check of your 7-day forecast. And the good news is that as of right now, we don't have any severe weather in our forecast, just some much needed rainfall expected as we go through the first half of the day on Thursday, drying out with pleasant temperatures as we head Friday into the weekend. If this forecast verifies, and considering how close we are to the weekend, there's a good chance that it will. This will be our first completely dry and also warm, pleasant weekend that we have had so far this year. So go ahead and plan to get outside and enjoy it. Into next week, it looks like we might have a slightly more active and wetter pattern picking back up in our area. Thank you so much for watching. And remember, you can get the latest forecast and watch our 24/7 live radar anytime with the WBIR Plus app. You can download that app for free and watch on your TV.